Good morning. Hi, I'm Monique Ruffin. I'm your Moon Madam. Isn't that fun? I love that. So I did a live video with Rakim Sekou a few days ago. You can go into my link tree and look at it. It's on YouTube right now, talking about healing the feminine with masculine energy and being able to create safe spaces with masculine embodied people who are capable of creating safety within themselves, and then also creating safety for others to be able to be themselves. And so I'm really wanting to share about the healing journey in that, and how important it is for us to recognize that everything is generated from inside. Every experience we're having is an internal one, first and foremost. And my healing as a woman and feminine energy and all of that really began in the wounding time with my parents. And I was just sharing with my girlfriend who's here now, her name is Hasina. You guys may follow her on Instagram. How when I was young, when I was an infant, my parents were young. They were 17 or so. They were young, like 17 and 20 or something like that. And I remember when I was young, they would have sex in the room with me. Like they would, because they were children, I'd be in the bed with them and they'd be having sex. And I remember, because I'm very energetically sensitive, I remember being afraid. I remember the feeling of fear because of the sounds that my mother was making. I remember being afraid for her. And then I remember the feeling of the energy and feeling like ecstasy. And so when I was very young, like 2 and 3 years old, I started doing self-pleasure because it had been activated in me by my parents. And the thing that I have started to realize just in this last couple of weeks, as I'm doing the work to heal my own energetic body, my own feminine energy, is for my entire life, I've been functioning over my true essence, because the experience of being in the room with my parents having sex energetically charged me so much that it's like blew out my own circuits, basically, as a child, as an infant. And so I've always all my life been functioning over my natural rhythm, my natural energy field, because I was that experience as a child, and because I grew up in an environment where there was a lot of violence and pain and misery and judgment. And so in those experiences, I had to continue to function over my sensitivities. But the beautiful thing about having a man in your life who is present, conscious, honest, willing, is that it's given me the opportunity to explore the subtle energies inside of me, to know. And what I'm discovering as Rakim is here with me at my house and Hasina is here, is that I am rediscovering the part of me that existed before my experience with my parents overloaded me and overwhelmed me energetically. And so I've come back to like the innocence. It's amazing. It's amazing. And so here's how that works, right? We just had the new moon in Aries, and Aries is the beginning, the blueprint. And I set an intention in that time to come back to the beginning of myself, because that's what the universe is doing. Like, it's not something that you have to make up or look for. The universe has a pattern in place through the constellations. So as we came into Aries, I was like, oh, I want to set an intention to come to the beginning of myself, the essence of myself, the who I was before I took on all of these identities. And then as the energy moved from the new moon to Aries and into Libra at the full moon, my desire was to come into the right relationship, because Libra is about relationship and partnership. So to come into the right relationship with myself, because that new moon was in Aries, which is about the self. And in Libra, Libra, we are partnering with the other, but the partnership with the other can only be derived from our partnership with ourselves. And so this whole cycle for me has been about healing that energy of my original blueprint. And I really want you guys to understand that the moon work is a invitation. It is a gateway into your psyche. So when you do it and you do the moon work and you follow it through the phases and you ask yourself, how is this feeling in me? How is this showing up in me? And you go into understanding your own psyche, the nature of your own self, you will remember things that you didn't know were blocking you. It will be revealed because that is the grace and the honor of the universe. If you are asking to understand, the universe will absolutely meet you where you are. And so today, the moon is in Sagittarius. And it's void, which means that it's the time before it's going to move into Capricorn, and it's in the deep, it's in the dark, it's in the invisible phases. And so this is the time when you would use this energy to share your inspiration, because it's disseminating, it's giving out, it's going into the new moon phase again. So to share what you have, but while the moon is void, you want to go in and you want to ask, what is it that really feels compelling to me to share, to give, to honor myself with, and to honor those that I am in relationship with? How can I share the deepest parts of myself for the purpose of healing, for the purpose of love, for the purpose of connection, for the purpose of inspiration? Because that is what Sagittarius is about. It's about being inspired, it's about expansion, it's about a global understanding. And what do we need now more than anything than a global understanding and a realization that our evolution, our growth will help us, not just for ourselves, but for everyone around us. And we need to do that at the deepest level of ourselves. Before we were our mother's children, before we were our father's children, before we took on these identities of black or white or woman, or before we embodied the level of trauma that most of us have endured and lived through on a daily basis, what was going on before all of those things happened that distracted you from who you are? That's the thing you want to consider, ask yourself about, ponder, love yourself enough to take the judgment away, to be with whatever shows up, however silly it might sound, right? Here I am, a 50-year-old woman talking about when I was 1 year old in the bed with my parents with them having sex. But that is how deep our psyche goes. It takes in everything. So nothing is stupid. Nothing is too much. Nothing is wrong. As long as it's your truth and you understand it and you're willing to be with it and take responsibility for it, it will offer you a gift. So with that, peace and blessings. My name is Monique. If you'd like to get a reading, you can do so through my website, moniqueruffin.com. The new moon cycle will start on April 26th. We're going to be working with the energy of Taurus. And so just like we worked with the energy of Aries, and I just shared about it, we're going to be working with the energy of Taurus, which is about building our reality, which is about our self-esteem, our worth, our value, and understanding the power of what it is that you have, right? Because Taurus is about possessions, the material world, comforts, and security. So we'll be working with that. And if you'd like to do that, you can just join the Moon Manifestation course. It's in my LinkedIn. It's $57 for the month. And I'd love to be your facilitator and your coach to help you reclaim the parts of yourself that you were fractured off from or were forced to neglect because of your environment. So peace and blessings. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.